Hi, I'm Leeza. I'm an international transformation specialist. And today I want to strip away some of the noise around what it means to be a leader, right? There are thousands of books and podcasts and videos like this one. And I want to talk about what leadership really is because it's not about titles, it's not about power suits or performance reviews, and it's not about being in charge. I have the opportunity, I'm an executive coach on the Forbes Coaches Council, and I work with leaders from all over the world who do amazing things. And what I recognize in true leadership is it's about how you show up. It's how you show up in meetings, in conflict, in conversations, and even in your own inner dialogue. So, real leadership starts when you stop trying to control things around you and you start leading from within. And I'd like to explore with you today how to reclaim that leadership as something deeply human, as part of who you actually are. So, have you ever sat in a meeting? See if this ever happened to you, watch, or maybe even on video or what have you, and watching someone dominate the room and thought, that is so not leadership. That is like ego in action, right? Or maybe you yourself have felt stuck between doing what is expected of you and what you feel is the right thing to do. Or you've been told to be a team player while actually inside everything is saying this is something is so off here. So the way that I define leadership, and it seems to be really useful for a lot of folks, and that is knowing the highest and best within yourself, recognizing the highest and best within another, even if they don't see it at the time, and then inviting them along on a journey that you all are going to take together with a vision that you're holding. So real leadership doesn't come from pleasing or performing or, putting on the suit. It comes from grounding inside yourself first, and then moving from that place out in the world. And today we're going to look at how that inner alignment is really the root of having impact outside. So clarity begins with untangling what leadership isn't. So I've already spoken a little bit about that. It's not charisma, it's not control, it is certainly not being the loudest person in the room, even though that's often thought of that way. Leadership is being the clearest, it's being the most present and the most real. So for me, when I started on this path and I started working with leaders and doing my courses in relational leadership, I recognized that leadership meant having the courage to speak what is unpopular when it is needed. And on the flip side of that coin, it means staying quiet when I was just trying to sound smart. So it's reading the room and delivering and providing what's needed and having the grit and the grace to discern those two things. So that's my definition of leadership. It's what I have seen in action to be delivering the excellence in the world in these organizations. So I would like to help you identify what's your definition of leadership. What does it mean for you? And clarity is knowing that you don't have to lead like someone else to be effective, but to clarify for yourself. And then you lead best when you lead as yourself. That's that human piece. That's the humanity of it. So let's talk about ownership, taking responsibility for your influence. Ownership means acknowledging that you already have influence, whether you are aware of it or not. It depends on if you're intentional with how you yield it. Whatever you do, however you are coming into the space, you are influencing. And the more intentional you are, the more aware you are of your own presence, of your tone, your reactions, your words, they shape the space around you. And it is your responsibility to own those ripples that you create. And for me, that looked like realizing that when I responded, when I was under pressure, I used to respond with intensity. And I've groomed that over the years in my own leadership practice. I was I was facilitating a group recently in strategic planning, and there was a lot of discontent in the room that I could feel. And it got to the point where people started attacking me. I was the facilitator, I was at the front of the room, I was the leader in that situation. And so that was the target for them. And it took me a minute, and I went inside and I went quiet and I listened to what people were saying. And I was recognizing the deep discontent and the sources of that discontent, which had nothing to do with me. They were just shooting the messenger. And so, what I did in that situation was I showed up with presence. I heard their complaints, I heard their challenges, and then I used my acumen as a leader and my skill set in facilitation to create an environment that they felt heard and to create a plan forward. And it shifted the entire situation. So it's not just what I did in front of those people, it's what I created within myself and what I've been practicing for years behind the scenes. So ownership is choosing to align your values and your words and your actions so that you are congruent, even when nobody is watching, even when there's no group in front of you. So let's talk about resolution, and that is healing your relationship with power. So, what I mean by that is many of us have wounds around power, whether it was from parents, from church, from school, from culture, that we felt like we were less than, we were oppressed. Maybe we even had experienced abuse, right? Or goodness was withheld from us, or it was used to silence us. But power isn't bad, it's just energy. And resolution happens when you stop running from that power and you realize it doesn't have to be used as a weapon and you don't have to defend yourself to protect yourself, but you can actually use that power, that energy within yourself with integrity so you can contribute. And that means setting boundaries without guilt. It means being firm without being harsh. It means allowing and empowering others to rise without you feeling like you're going to lose anything in that process. So power, it's about power with, not power over. And now let's talk about excellence, leading with wholeness, not with performance. So if you've been following me, you've heard this from me a few times. Excellence in leadership isn't about never making mistakes. It's not about being perfect. It's about staying aligned even when you do make mistakes or you miss the mark. It's coming from that place of excellence within yourself, from your highest and best. So when you're leading from excellence, you're not trying to prove anything. You are there to bring your gifts, your business acumen. You are there to serve and to grow and to help others witness their own brilliance. Yeah? So leadership becomes less about being impressive and more about being impactful, right? It's not being driven by fear of someone's going to find out that I'm not this, that, or the other thing. It's about knowing your value and bringing that to the table. That's the kind of leadership that changes everything. Think of the people that you respect, the leaders that you've seen in the world making changes and leading in a way that you would like to. It's that presence. And you have it. We all do. So, this is what I'd like to offer you for this week. Ask yourself, where in my life am I waiting to be given permission to lead? Right? So you are actually holding yourself back. Where are you doing that? Where are you waiting for permission? That's all. And then stop waiting. You can speak the truth gently. You can take a small stand. You can make a clear decision based on your values. Whatever it is, you bring your presence, your alignment, and your willingness to act from the inside out. But the first step is just recognizing, where are you waiting for permission to lead? So if this message reminded you that real leadership doesn't require a title, and if it helped you see that power is actually already in your hands, then go ahead and like the video and subscribe and share it with someone else who wants to lead with the heart. And if you are ready to lead from clarity and ownership and resolution and excellence, you'll find resources and programs linked below. You don't have to wait to be a leader. You already are that. It's just time to live it.